Another week, another terrorist threat, this one from a Muslim terrorist group called Al-Shabaab. They were declaring war on the West, of course, and in the form of proposed attacks on Western shopping centres. And they mentioned Canada's West Edmonton Mall by name.
We call upon our Muslim brothers, particularly those in the West, to answer the call of Allah and target the disbelievers wherever they are. If just a handful of Mujahideen fighters could bring Kenya to a complete standstill for nearly a week, then imagine what a dedicated Mujahid in the West could do to the American or Jewish-owned shopping centres across the world. What if such an attack was to occur in the Mall of America in Minnesota, or the West Edmonton Mall in Canada, or in London's Oxford Street, or any of the 100 or so Jewish-owned Westfield shopping centres dotted right across the Western world? Take the Westfield shopping centre in Stratford, or in White City, for example. What would be the implications of such an attack? One could only imagine. And all it takes is a man with firm determination, of which our Muslim Ummah has plenty of. So hurry up, hasten towards heaven, and do not hesitate. For the disbelievers have no right whatsoever to rejoice in the safety of their lands until safety becomes a reality in Palestine and all the lands of Islam. And until we take vengeance on the Western Crusaders for the deaths of thousands of innocent Muslims and Mujahideen leaders killed in American drone strikes.
It's tiresome, this drumbeat, it's terrifying, and it cements the reputation of Muslim terrorist groups as being the same thing. Muslim equals terrorism, and so you can imagine why journalists were thrilled to see a story that broke that narrative. It was a story out of Oslo, Norway. Look at the reports. 1,000 Muslims, 13 Muslims holding hands in a ring of peace around the Jewish synagogue in Oslo, protecting them against terrorism.
This event is organized by a group of Norwegian Muslim youths. They formed the so-called peace ring, or the human shield, around the synagogue after a number of attacks on Jews across Europe. They want to assure the Norwegian Jews that they support them and to tell the world that attacks against Jews are not in the name of Islam.
So hopeful, so uplifting. What a beautiful rejoinder to the Al-Shabaabs and the Al-Qaedas and the Islamic States of the world. Oh, finally, what we have all been hoping for, except, I hate to say it, it wasn't true. There were indeed 1,300 people who formed a ring of peace around the synagogue, but 1,280 of them were ethnic Norwegians. Only 20 Muslims were there. Now, that's still a good sign, better than nothing, except for I have more news for you. The leader of those 20 is a blatant anti-Semite who has publicly said in the past he, quote, hates Jews and gays and other infidels, and he claims that 9/11 was a fake, a fraud, a setup. Part of me is sorry to tell you this, because I loved holding on to this story of 1,300 peace-loving, Jew-defending Muslims as much as anyone. But I don't think we should kid ourselves. We are in a war with radical Islam, whether it's Al-Qaeda, the Islamic State, or Al-Shabaab. I want there to be 300 peace-loving Muslims in Norway. I want there to be 1 billion around the world. But right now we've got to focus on the ones who want to kill us overseas, in Norway, or here at home.